Hi guys, I hope everyone's good. Thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for the share. There's a hope and there's a goal here, but we're gonna pace ourselves. The person that I'm chatting to, Kamu Moth, TV personality, radio personality, and a good friend of mine, we share through the makeup. She calls herself a movement. And my hope and prayer for you, my friend, is that you move beyond your borders. May just God put you in these rooms that you have no idea of. May you just, elevation to elevation to elevation. That is my prayer for you. Thank you for sitting with me, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Remember, we are respectful in the comments. Views will differ from yours, but we're going to take the seed and plant the fruit in our own courtyards. So yeah, I know that some people asked for description of the makeup. Didn't think it was something that people were interested in. So just give me some time. I'm trying to find a way around informing you of what I used without it being about the makeup. So I will get there. We will get there. We'll get there together. Your comment is not seen. I saw the comment. I'm working on a way that makes everything work in harmony. Follow me on my Instagram page. There's going to be a lot more description and details on what I use on that Instagram page. It's Vanessa Makole. My professional Instagram page for bookings is Makole Beauty. You can follow me there to see all the people that I've done, just to see portfolio of what I've done, all the details. À fur et à mesure. À fur et à mesure in French, in English is as time goes, we'll build a repertoire of substance and things that I used for all of these videos. You'll see I'm going to do it in a creative way. I'm still thinking of ways. If you have any suggestions of if there's something that you want me to know, to share with you, either than these conversations, the series of conversations that I will be having for a very long time, let me know. I'm going to quickly do a video, but still expect every Tuesday I'll see you back here on Tuesday for Transformation Tuesday. Subscribe and share, and let's love on each other in the comment section. Stay well, guys. Take care of all that is yours. Bisous. Merci. How does
What's that?
To be a celebrity on
You're a celebrity makeup artist. How does that feel?
That's such a vomiting
I mean,
thing.
the faces you touch.
Okay, we shifting between diarrhea and constipation. Which one do you prefer?
Yo, give me the shits any day, bro. You know why?
Why?
Because it makes me feel really skinny straight afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like when you vomit. It sucks, but then you're like, oh, I feel so much lighter. Now I don't have to be on that diet anymore.
What's the best compliment you've ever received?
That I'm hilarious. I think it was the best for me because I'm someone that prides myself in being more than just booty and pretty face. So when you compliment something, I do, facts, and it's real. Mm-hmm. So when you compliment something that you can't see,
it's beautiful. It
must really be dope, right? But I just remembered something. I actually, during the takeoff, Thibaut Touch gave me the best compliment ever. He was like, wait, I gotta take this moment to just tell this girl how amazing she is. There's no auto cue, but she always knows the script word for word, back to back. I never have to ask the director, the producer. I just turn to her and I'm like, what's next? And she'll brief me quickly, spot on. She literally carries the entire show, and that to me says he really went this far. She's better than Bonham.
Right now, if you had to just pause for like 5 seconds, who do you miss the most?
My dad.
Oh, dude.
My dad. That's my best friend. That's my first love. No, I can't imagine life without my dad. And one of the things that I religiously pray for is for him to be here until I get to that pinnacle point in my career. I want him to witness it. I want him to know my kids. All that stuff. I want my dad to be there for all those things.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's so nice to see when a girl has that relationship, because my dad passed away a long time ago. So when I see a girl has that relationship with her dad, it's like I want to borrow a minute of that. But anyways, on the next note,
I have to ask you this. So your dad passed away. Like, how did you overcome the pain and the loss?
Real talk, I don't think you ever get over it. Every occasion, like how you said, you want your dad to be there at your highest. to not miss this, like, career highs. So in all those moments, you think of it. Like, I remember the first time you think of, what would he say? Well, how would he support me? What would he? Because a man's voice is quite steady. Like, it's solid. It's like
it's very comforting.
So even when people are talking nonsense and you hear your dad's voice, it almost seems like, I don't care. My dad loves me.
Yeah.
You know, and so in every occasion you think about that. So, what's your truth?
My truth.
Yeah.
Having known real love. So because I come from a home where I was smothered with love, I am very, it's almost like I'm made up of love. Inside me, I have bottles and bottles and bottles of love. Whether it's love for people or love for sports or love for, like, I'm an extremist when it comes to love.
And what would you say love is for you?
God.
What does that mean?
The fact that you have the skill, right? You're like the baddest in the game. That's love. That's God, and that's love. The talents that you see around the world, your Serenas, people that are groundbreaking. Those are reminders of how much God loves us, that He blessed us over and abundantly, but all differently and to different extents. But there isn't an extent that's lesser than the other,
At your work, what is love? Get in your car on your way to work, you get to work. At what point do you feel like, yep, I'm colliding with love?
The moment the mic goes on.
That's
and
beautiful.
That opening link. Whether I'm doing it or Penny is doing it, just that when the switch goes and it goes on air. And it's not just a radio thing, even when I'm doing TV, when they go, and that is when I feel the rush of just extreme, overwhelming love.
That's amazing. Then if love is your truth, what are your intentions when you do something? What do you think drives your intentions in friendship, in love? What's your intention? What's your final intention when you think about that?
When I do things, I don't want you to give anything in return. I just want you to feel how I feel because of the lengths my parents have gone to make sure get sharp, So when a friend comes to me and they need something, even if it's my last, I do it because I am a big believer of standing in the gap. And to stand in the gap for something doesn't mean it has to be directly related to you.
What's the first thing you notice about someone?
Their eyes. You can tell a lot by looking into someone's eyes. I know this because I once dated someone. I'm going to look deep on you right now.
Please do.
And I remember staring at him and I saw the face of the devil. We were here and I couldn't shake it off, and it freaked me out for such a, it was like a demon was on top of me.
Oh my God.
Only because I looked at him dead in the eye and he looked at me dead in the eye. There wasn't a moment where it was just like, and I've taught myself, and I think that's why, when they're like, oh, when I talk to you, look at me in the eye, because you can't really tell if someone is being a snide, So I'm an energy person. I can meet you now and you won't know, and I'll just be like, I don't like that girl, I don't fuck with her, it is what it is. And a lot of people take that as, Kamu's always funny. I'm not funny. I have spent 28 years picking the energy that I want and protecting that energy and that space. So when something foreign sort of disables that energy, it's very easy for me to pick it up. So the eyes, they don't lie. I think I was like second year, and I said, listen, I don't know, but every time I'm with this guy, and ever since then,
and it was just when you were intimate, not when you're talking or anything.
Then I just started seeing it all the time.
Ooh, of course, yeah.
So the red flag for me was his soul. Sometimes the red flag is not going to come in the form of, every time he does this when he's on his phone, or And his soul exposed him. And God removed him. How did God remove him? He put me in a space with girls who had no business being friends with me. Like, we were not on brand with each other. And to find out those girls were having orgies with him.
As in group?
Yeah, I am go. And they told me, or maybe they told me because they wanted to hurt me. I don't care. Fact is, they told me.
I know, yeah.
And I confronted him, and he got a little rough. And once again, I was reminded of that devil image that I saw. And eventually, it just, the more I stayed, the more toxic it got. And I think that was God's way of trying to push me out. Like, okay, you're not gonna listen, this is what he's gonna do to you now. You're not gonna listen, this is what he's gonna do to you now. Until you leave.
Come on, bro.
Left. And you know what was sad? He was my first everything. I was 23 years old.
What do you know for sure about that experience?
I had to go through it, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be this bitch. And this bitch is lit. I'm powerful, and I don't think people understand that.
I'm sure, and I believe you. Do you believe in, speaking of what you went through, right? And do you believe in soul exchange and that exchange of spirit?
Yeah.
How did you cleanse yourself from him then?
And I don't think you ever really get rid of it.
Deep.
It's a soul.
And then how do you...
I think to overcome it is a choice. It's like when you find out that you have cancer or whatever, and you go, but to still live an active and happy life, you choose every day.
I love that.
It's a choice. So I chose to not let the things that I let in
become
corrupt the real me or become me.
Yeah.
So I starve it. So I don't put myself in situations that might entertain that thing.
Yes.
You know, I let it in, but I'm not gonna let it grow.
So now, if I had to ask you now, like, what would you tell someone else? Like, what would you say to someone else in a situation where they have that gut feeling that you had?
To have your first experience be that traumatic, you know. I remember going to the hospital, just get me an AIDS test, and I would keep going because he was such a whore, and that was the basis of our fallout, you know. And he wasn't a safe whore, you know. Yeah, long story short, yeah, we broke up eventually. It was the hardest thing. I fell into a depression. In about 25 to 28 days, I went from a 36 to a 26, a size 26. Wow. I wasn't okay. He had killed parts of me that I never thought would be awakened again. And fundamental parts like hope, like the essence of me, which is love, peace. He had killed me, literally. Because he didn't kill, you know, the stupid stuff. He didn't kill like confidence or whatever. He killed the stuff that life depends on. And I felt like he left me for dead, and he was my best friend. He should have never done that.
Yeah. The thing that you said that I'm taking on, and I never paid attention to, is because you know when you're in a relationship, you always think that they're gonna it's your confidence that they kill. But when you said hope, it's such a huge thing. Because a lot of people go into relationships and they're like, I'm not doing that again. Someone killed your hope.
Yeah.
And
I probably don't ever want to date again, but I did date like 2 years later. And that was great because I was able to be a Pisces. You know, Pisces people, we love love, man. But because of that guy, I thought I'd be like a cold person, or I'd become like a girl that's smashing out. But I Titanicked my situation again, okay? I was Jack and Rose, and he even let me down, but it didn't break me this time around. It taught me. It taught me my weakness. That's what it did.
When are you happiest?
All the fucking time. Is that a real thing? I'm happy right now. Like, I'm happy at work, I'm happy at home, I'm happy when I'm sleeping. Yo, but I think my greatest joy, definitely the netball court.
That's wow.
I'm with a netball player, the baddest bitch on the court. Yes,
Position?
you can't tell me anything. Goal attack.
Attack.
I'm a goal attack. I've been a goal attack since I was the age of 7.
Wow.
As I grew, brilliant at it.
Goal defend girl.
So we're like enemies,
We enemies
literally.
on the field.
Wow. What I learned for the 2 years, when did I move to Johannesburg? 2017. So it's the 3rd year. Always be yourself. I know it's cliche, but it's important because your life is Big Brother. You just don't know it. Everyone is always watching, even the people you least expect. And even without hitting that following, you literally can still fuck shit up. And I'm a living testament of that. So I've worked with people that most celebrities had to wait 10 years before they could sit next to that person. And I was able to do that in 2 years. DJ's Boo, Thibaut Touch, Penny Libian. So don't focus on getting the numbers and thinking it will open doors. Focus on being authentic and being a people's champ.
We get that word a lot, authentic.
You know what
What would
authentic
you say
is?
it means? Yeah.
People should look at you and be like, I can do that. Because a part of someone being able to say, I can do that, is hope. It's instilling hope in the kids
next
that Ogasi or the mansion. If they're like, oh, she's fat, but she's killing it, that's hope. If they're like, she's dark skinned and she's killing it, that's hope. When you yourself all the time, you sort of become your walking portfolio. And a lot of the jobs I got, I never applied for.
I love that, though, hey? I truly believe in that. Those things that you don't apply for, but yourself, you made room for yourself in rooms that you didn't think would make room. I love that. That's my favorite. You inspire me, Mom.
You inspire me.
3 habits that you do, that you did, that you could give a relay to someone else that would bring them to these rooms that you speak of.
Alone time.
Got it.
Super
What does that
important.
look like? Alone time for you?
Alone time for me doesn't necessarily mean you are always by yourself. You need to find that thing that brings you back to the child you, because the child you was the true you. The child you is the one that was not tainted by the world or the naysayers. I think the Bible says, be like children in your belief and your faith. So you need to never lose your kindred spirit, because it will always remind you, irrespective of the noise and the no's and the dips of life, it always reminds you that you are great. Find the quiet moment that's going to remind you that life is bigger than what is currently happening right now around you. And then the second habit is go home, guys. Go home. Go home. Because that grounds you.
Please, can I tell you, I've always wanted to have this conversation about going home, because it's a practice that's very South African, whether you guys believe it or not. It's a very South African thing. As Congolese, and I don't want to project, because obviously there's some Congolese that go home, but it's not a habit of us to go home. But here in South Africa, there's a sense, actually Southern Africa, because Zimbabweans also do this, there's a sense of, there's a deep attachment that you guys have to where you were birthed.
Yeah.
That I find very phenomenal. How, why, and how?
Because home is the root of all things. And I mean, even bad habits, good habits, it's the root, it's the foundation of it all. Before you encountered the world, you always encountered home. Even before your mom birthed you, you were always at home. Home is not a stranger.
And why
it's
do
the
you think
anchor.
that is important?
Because it anchors you.
Love that.
Number 3, don't quit. Not quitting, learning not to quit is a habit, by the way. It's something you teach yourself, because throughout life, there's some situation that makes you want to tap out. So do not quit. To teach yourself not to quit is a habit. After those 2 factors, I never dated again. I've never dated since then.
By choice?
I would say it's by choice. And my dad ruined me, but he preserved me in the same breath.
Did you say my dad ruined?
Yes. He ruined me in the sense that my dad told me no one deserves me.
What does that mean for you? No one deserves you.
I'm too good. I'm too. They don't deserve me. They don't match up. They score. I don't. That's what my dad taught me. But I think what he was trying
Do you
to
believe
teach.
it?
Yes, that's why I'm single, and that's why I treat men the way that I do. I don't treat men like they are my life support. I treat men like dessert, in the words of Cher. Cher said it best. She said, men are like dessert, and I love dessert, you know, but we don't have dessert every day. It's a treat. Also, in the words of Cher, she said, I'm slowly becoming the man that I want to marry. I am the rich man.
I'm slowly becoming the man that I want to marry.
I
Do you
am the
believe
rich
that
man.
of yourself?
Yes, I am already that man. That's why there's nothing that a man can do that's going to sweep me off my feet at this point, at this stage of the game. But it wasn't only because of what my dad said, it's also my dad has set the bar. My dad always treated me, and he always told me I'm his God. So, do you understand what it means to be someone's God? What's higher than God? Absolutely nothing. So he was saying, you're the ultimate love, you're the ultimate perfection, you're the ultimate this. You are, without a doubt, the very air that I breathe. Without you, I cease to exist. That's what my dad was saying to me. But he was also teaching me to think of myself that way, even outside of home, so that when people do me bad, I don't think it's a me problem. That's why I said, if you're shitty, that's a you problem. That doesn't sound like a Gamo problem. Gamo's problems are things that Gamo does, you know. It's hindered my relationships in the sense that everyone falls short. Because he set the standard, but also because he taught me real self-worth.
Best lecturer or talk?
Hidden colors. You can't know your power if you don't understand your origin, your position. It's the same thing I use as when people are like, oh, I will never submit to my man. Who said submitting is being a dog? You know, so woman, submit to your husband, right? That's what it says. But it also says, man, love your wife as Christ loves the church.
Would you say you're Christian?
No, I'm not.
Look forward.
Forward. Oh, there's forward.
Yeah.
It's the wine. So they work hand in hand. For me to take my submissive place, the man needs to love me like Christ loves the church. You can't have one and the other one absent. You know what I mean? So
is it important for you for the man to love you like Christ loves the church?
Yes, absolutely. He's meant to. As much as it's going to be important to him for me to play the role that is described in I think it's Proverbs 31, where it describes the woman. I can't give you that if you can't love me like Christ loves the church. You understand how much Christ loves the church? He's selfless about it. I actually have a tattoo. You see the heart and the cross? That's actually the love of Christ, which is selfless love, which is agape.
Are you Christian?
I was raised Catholic. I embrace all religions. I don't think there's one that's better than the other. You spread love.
Do you
and
think
not
in
hate.
answering whether you're Christian means that you're saying one religion is better than the other?
No, but I think that Christians project that. They project that they are better.
Got it.
But I don't think that that's what Christianity intended.
Look up at this thing.
I believe in spreading love and not hate. I believe in all those mushy things. So I do believe in God, you know. Because what really separates the stuff is like practices and prophets and I don't have time for that, you know. Because to me it just feels like another way of segregation, of segregating people. And I'm not about black race, white race, I'm about human race.
Your favorite word?
wild.
Really?
Everything to wild. It could be, that's wild. Like I even spell it with like WW, about 10 I's,
Yeah.
3 L's, and like 7 D's. Wild. That's my favorite word right now.
How are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Great.
You shouldn't cut the stuff. Like this, where I'm greeting random people, it makes for a great show. It makes it real.
You think?
I would make my if I had a talk show and there was like some weird interruptions, like where I'm talking to like the producer, I would keep that. Like, and that's how I produce radio as well for Penny. Like,
Yeah.
and
Keep the awkward parts.
I learned that from Zvu, because Zvu would always have these weird, like I'm just like, why are there other people speaking while you're like, what is going on? It eliminates perfection, and perfection is not even a real thing.
That was your advice. I'm keeping that. And you're gonna see more of my YouTube being like this because of you, so I appreciate it.
Okay.
Let's start with me. Okay, cool. How did you get into the industry?
Remember that guy that broke my heart?
Yes.
So when he broke my heart and I became a super skinny girl, a lot of celebrities used to come to like Bloom, and I clubbed a lot because I didn't know how else to deal with it. So my escape was the bottle and the twerking, and I had the body for it now, you know. A lot of industry people would think I'm a vibe. They're just like, that bitch. During that phase of my going out, that's why I met your DJ Milkshakes, your everyone, and I'm still very good people with them today. It's probably because I didn't sleep with them or anything like that. They were just always about the party and bullshit, and I was always down. And someone said, "You're such a socialite. You should be that girl that does like entertainment on radio. Have you tried radio?" I think it was Lindy, a girl from Bloom. And I said, "Oh no, I don't want to be a radio person. I want to be an actress." And she's like, "Really? I think you should try radio." I remember I went to CET-FM because Lindy's cousin is Layla, who was the station manager. And I said, "Hey, I want to be on radio. I want to shadow. Teach me. I'll probably do it like you or better."
Did you say that to her?
Yeah, and she went. And she just thought, "Oh, this cocky girl, this bitch." I was shadowing on a show called Triple B or something like that, like, but it was 12 till 3 with a guy called El Forza, and he's a gay guy, and he liked me so much off air because we'd gossip and we'd spice. One day he put me on air, and he got suspended, but they kept me on air. And then he came back and we were like having this, then I semi-produced some of the segments, and then I started chatting with him, and then I started doing a hip-hop show at CTFM called The Wrap Up with a guy called Verve, because of what El Forza had done. And this happened in the space of like a month, 2 months of being there. And The Wrap Up that year, we won Best On-Air Duo. And I said, if I've done this in a year,
How much
and
more?
I got an award, I have no business being in Bloom, I'm leaving. But I wouldn't have left if the second guy didn't break my heart. I would have just been a lawyer, lived on his farm, and did whatever people do on the farm. He had to break my heart so that I can do what I really want. He deep, man. Woo!
Look forward at the garage, please.
You put mascara on lashes.
No, just at the roots so that it squashes together nice.
So what do I think about TV? It's terrible. I look at TV right now. The reason I stopped watching TV is because we started imitating too much. But if you're gonna copy something, be better. You know, I can't copy you, but do a lousy job at copying you. And I think we need to get to a point where we make our own TV and not copy American concepts. What color is this?
Flesh pot and antique velvet. And then you pass again. Phenomenal. Good. Go.
I look like those American girls. You know which ones? Let's do this.
So this is the front. This is $1 million question. Only is $1 million. Tell me what you don't like so we can fix what you don't like and move forward in the direction.
I just want to say this. I want to take this moment to say this. I have to say this. From the moment I realized that this hun is not just a YouTube hun,
Yeah.
and doesn't just have a super sexy brother,
Oh!
I actually should stop talking about your brother.
Yeah.
We're not here for that. When I realized she was this gifted with, she's an artist, really. She's a painter. When I realized she could do things that she does to people's faces, I was like, what? If she's this good,
Oh man.
she's probably fucking expensive, first of all. And when I realized what she can do, I remember thinking to myself, I need to make gang money. I want her to touch my face, but I can't afford her.
Oh
And
man.
every single time I bump into her, I think that's the one thing I always say to her. Every time she responds to my story, I'm always like, I can't wait for the day that I can pay you so that you can beat me the fuck up, okay?
You're not wasting money
It
here.
can't, I don't think you understand how good you are.
Oh, stop.
Do you know how good you are?
Are we cheering?
Do you grasp how good you are?
Am I refilling you or am I giving you water? Which one are we doing?
Wait. Give me my phone. I got a video call my mama.
Let's see what she
That's-
says.
that's-
That's gonna be the truth. And then, what are we doing after that?
Hi.
Hello,
Get smart today.
Blanks.
Igane kiban. Igane kijobo America ne.
From the space.
The space ne. Helina kabona man. Woo! This is who gave me a face.
Hello, ma.
Oh, okay. No, all of the best.
Ma
thank you,
bala.
ma.
Where's our bona?
I used to be like you. You see yourself when you get old, you'll be just like me.
Wow, sis, you're doing a lot. Neko go bonza for ke horo. How we trile style, how we setile mosne. We trile dikele. O bo go bala yan. Le nna ke tlo go bala yan. For go ska senya dikele. I ke tlo senya satlhego.
But